Back in 1969, you could get, I think, at least 5 different Mustang models. You could get the base model, you could get a Mach 1, you could get a GT, you could get a Boss 302, a Boss 429, but you could sometimes mix and match elements to create your own. And that's what happened here. This week, we've got a base model Mustang with a Cobra Jet under the hood. Set your time machine to 1969. You're going to go out and buy a new Mustang. And you've got a lot of options. You could spend all the money and buy a Boss 429 or one of the Shelby cars. You could get a fancy Mach 1. You could get a base model car with a small motor in it. Well, whoever bought this car new chose to do a little bit of everything. It is a convertible, so it's kind of sporty. It doesn't have any Mach 1 or appearance package, it's just blue. But under the hood, it's got the 428 Super Cobra Jet motor with the 4-speed and the locking rear differential. I mean, this car is a mystery on why it was even built. When we think about speedy Mustangs, we tend to think about stripes and big wide tires and fancy wheels and rear wings and louvers and all kinds of racy looking stuff, but I think sometimes less is more, and that's why this car is so cool. It's a beautiful color blue, doesn't have any special trim or stripes, a stark white convertible top makes it nice and clean, and the only thing racy about it is the Cobra Jet shaker scoop coming through the hood. People often talk about sleeper cars, and a sleeper is a car that is much faster than it looks. You know, you got a big giant motor and a small compact car, that's a sleeper. Mustangs really aren't sleepers in my opinion, because you could buy a fast Mustang. You could have a Mustang like this one that really doesn't look fast on the outside, but is hiding that 428 motor under the hood. So as Mustangs go, I guess this could be a sleeper. To me, it's more of kind of a Saturday night moneymaker, because if you pulled up next to this thing at the drag strip or at the stoplight drags, you'd look at this car and say, well, it's a convertible, so whoever bought it, convertibles are heavier than the coupe, so they're also a little more flexible, so it's really not the best street race car, so it's probably not sporting anything under the hood, to make it a champion in the drag strip. But then when you look at that shaker scoop and see that it's got Cobra Jet written on it, and then you see the 4-speed and the whole drag pack making it a Super Cobra Jet, all of a sudden you've got a car that is probably going to show you its taillights before you even know what happened. The 428 Cobra Jet is a big V8, but it fits within the shock towers. It's not like the Boss 429 that required all the surgery. So these cars were available at any local Ford dealer, and they made a ton of power. The shaker scoop really gives this thing a racy appearance, and at the same time, they were a smooth engine that you could drive every day and enjoy the car, so it wasn't super temperamental like a race car. That 428 motor was rated at 335 horsepower and 440 foot-pounds of torque. It's got an awesome sound to it. It's got a nice lumpy idle. I mean, there's something going on when you hear this thing coming down the street. The rest of the car is finished off in a beautiful dark blue. Again, the white convertible top, black interior, 4-speed. But inside, there's nothing fancy going on at all. It really doesn't have any other options outside of the convertible top. So there's, I think, 3 different possibilities of who picked this car. Sometimes I like to think back of the person that bought this car new. What were they thinking? And either it was somebody who just liked convertibles and that's about it, and they wanted to have a fast one, so they put that motor in it and the top goes down and that's it. Or it was somebody who was going to go out and race this thing on the street and didn't want to get picked up on, so there's no Mach 1 package or no Boss package. Or the other one is that it could be somebody who didn't have a lot of money and they knew they wanted a convertible and they knew they wanted a big motor but couldn't afford any of the rest of the options, so it's a stripper version. I guess we'll never know the real psychology of why this car exists. I just think it's very cool that it exists today and it's being looked after in the Brothers collection. You can see more photos of this Mustang, plus dozens of other muscle cars we featured on Muscle Car of the Week. Just go to the website, MuscleCarOfTheWeek.com. And we've got a Facebook page where you can check out the cars and share them with your friends. And don't forget our YouTube channel, where if you subscribe, you'll never miss an episode of Muscle Car of the Week.